Hey guys, so welcome to this live on how to support your fertility naturally. Basically, what we want to do, and I'm going to do a whole series here, and I'm able to share my screen. I figured it out. I got a little bit more tech savvy, but most of you, from the conversations that I've had with you, most of you, what I'm realizing are thinking about one way to support your fertility. And that even though if you've done everything and anything naturally and you've changed a bunch of stuff, but it just didn't work. So you assume that the natural way is not the thing that didn't work. And what I want to preface this kind of chat with is that you don't know what you don't know. And the goal of these next couple of series is to really teach you, to really help you understand all the things that go into supporting your fertility. And because I'm able to share my screen today, I am going to be able to draw some things because the kind of the main frustrations that I see is number one, you're doing everything and anything and to support your fertility naturally, and nothing seems to be working. So you're frustrated because you feel like you're doing it all, but it's not working. Number two is you're actually are just exhausting yourself, and then you get to a point of where you just want to give up because it's not working. You're not seeing any results. And what we want is we want to have more of a laid out plan, a step-by-step plan, because there's the right next thing for you to do in terms of your fertility journey versus just doing everything and anything that's under the sun. Because truthfully, to implement one thing really well, like eating well, takes a lot of time. And eating well is not even specific enough. So what is it in your diet that we need to implement? What is it that we need to really change? Sometimes it's not even really about the diet, but how you eat and what's your ritual around eating. Are you cooking your own food? Are you sitting down to eat, or are you always eating on the go? And then when you're eating certain foods, are they actually causing more damage than good? So I'm going to lay out a map for you so you can really see all of the things that when I talk about supporting your fertility naturally, you could truly see how many things there are there. And instead of having kind of this put the blinders on and say, no, I've already done everything, I'm going to hopefully open up your mind a little bit and show you how many things, how many blind spots there are in basically everyone who has come to me and said, I've done everything naturally and it didn't work. So my goal is really to combine the natural and allowing your own body to heal with the scientific data. And that's really what I like. And this is why, if you haven't watched the guides yet, this is where I talk a lot about what labs I run, why I run the labs, and how we use the labs to guide us in our treatment protocol. So we want to know and understand what it is that we're doing. We want to look for those results and we want to feel better. And the mistakes that I see people make is they implement way too many things at once, and they don't actually implement them well. They don't implement them to their full capacity, and then they give up too early. So it's or they'll just stop because it's not working. But truthfully, they're not tracking the data, so they don't know if it's working. Because sometimes, and I'll give you an example, what's going on with me right now is I have the Aura ring that I've been using. I don't know if with a blurred you can see it, but it tracks my sleep. It tracks my heart rate variability, my heart rate, my temperature, and all these, basically how much stress my system is under. And I just started a new protocol, supplement protocol, and within 2 days, my heart rate variability skyrocketed, which is showing that my body is healing. I don't feel that much better in 2 days. In fact, my skin started to break out and I felt a little bit bloated. And so if I wasn't tracking anything, I would just assume that I'm getting worse. But the truth is I'm getting better. The data is showing that. I just need to give it time to catch up so I can actually feel it. And so let me share my screen here and draw something for you. Here we go. I know you're just seeing a blank screen, but the concept that I really want to teach you guys in the next little while is that health and disease are on a spectrum. There's a lot of gray area. right? There's a lot of gray area. And so this is the kind of the gray area here, and let's say, let's see if I can, I'm not going to get too fancy here, but let's see diseases here. And you could be here and your doctor will say everything is fine. And you could be here and the doctor will say everything is fine. And so which one do you think is a better one to be part of? Right? Obviously, you're a lot closer to getting sick. And your conventional medical doctor, they're trained in treating disease. So they don't have anything for you to offer you to help with this guy. They're not trained in healthcare. They're trained in disease care. And this is a concept that I really, really, really want to get across, because I always say we're not asking for the wrong thing, we're asking the wrong people. So if you're asking your doctor how to get healthy and your doctor is trained in disease, it's like going to a mechanic and asking them to do your taxes. That's not really going to work very well, right? So it's really important to go and reach out for, again, someone like myself, but there's a ton of us who are specializing in healthcare, not disease care. And the truth is there's a lot of things in our environment that are pushing us, towards disease care. So a lot more people are getting sick. A lot more people are struggling with infertility. Men are starting to pop up on the infertility and it takes a lot more work to get towards the health. And the reason, kind of what I want to say is that this is a spectrum and we're constantly have to work. The older we get, the more our environment changes, and our environment has changed drastically over the last 50 years and over the last 2 years as well. We have to change the things that we do in order to continue to stay healthy. And this is a correlation. Your health is going to reflect your fertility. It's really hard to write in. So this might be really hard for people to hear. And I totally get that, because that's a big hit to our ego to say, but I'm healthy. Why can't I get pregnant? So I have women and couples telling me they're healthy, and in the same sentence tell me that they have these and these medications that they're on for high blood pressure, for their Hashimoto's, for they're struggling with weight gain. So those two things don't really go hand in hand, right? If you're healthy and you're on medication, then we know that there's something going on. Your body's trying to compensate or not working the way that it should. And that's why you need to be on the medication. Now, don't get me wrong. You might be on that medication. You might need to be on that medication for some reason now. But what I want to do is open up your mind to say that if I'm on medication, or if I'm struggling with this issue, or if I can't lose weight, if I can't sleep, if I'm super stressed out and my digestion is all over the place, if I have skin rashes, psoriasis, eczema, whatever, an autoimmune condition, those are all signs that our health is struggling. And we absolutely can and should look into what are some of the possible things that are causing our body not to work in alignment, and how can we support it naturally. So when we are at the healthiest that we can be, then our fertility potential will naturally skyrocket, because the health of our cells dictates the health of the eggs. So women are born with all of their eggs. We can't change the quantity of the eggs that we have, but we can change the quality of the eggs. And that's really important to know. When it comes for males are producing sperm every day. That means the foods that they eat and the level of stress that they have and how they take care of their body is literally going to dictate the health of their sperm. And of course, that's the basis of fertility. If you haven't watched a video in the guides section on the 4 things you need for conception, I highly recommend that you do that. But let me share my screen one more time, and we're going to go through the 9 markers of health that I need you to be aware of. Now, if you want this workbook, oops, I apologize. I shared the wrong thing here. There we go. If you want this workbook, just go ahead and shoot the word health in the comments of this video and I will get it to you. But here are the 9 markers of health. Okay. And so I want you to think of health as a new concept. It's this new concept that you are going to think about. It's not just I'm healthy, but I don't want to hear the but at the end of the health. Here are the things, and what I'm going to do, I'm not going to go through all of them today because it's way too much. And basically over the next kind of 7 to 9 weeks, because some of these are going to be compiled, I'm going to go through each one and why they are important and how you can most importantly fix them, right? What do you need to know about truly being able to fall asleep? How you need to feel when you wake up, how much sleep do you need, and how you should track your sleep. The same about your energy, your mood, hydration. So these 9 things that you guys are seeing, is how I use to measure and track my health and my patient's health. And that way, we're never surprised when there is a quote unquote disease. And so when someone is struggling with fertility and they're coming to me, when I talk about naturally boosting their fertility, what I first do is assess them. Assessment and diagnosis is the first step into being able to give you good advice. If you go to a health food clerk at a store and say, I'm tired, and they recommend B12 without knowing any of these things, because B12 tends to give you energy, what are the chances that you are low in B12? You could be low in B12, 100%, but you could also not be low in B12. And so you're not going to notice a difference in your energy. But the deeper issue is actually, why are you low in B12? What is causing that depletion? And you're not going to know that without a proper assessment and without a proper diagnosis. And if you're going to your regular conventional doctor, don't get me wrong, it's good to go and to make sure and see that things are fine. But how many times have you actually gone to the doctor and got a phone call that said, hey, everything looks good, but you should probably improve this, and you should think? You don't even get a phone call if everything is good. So you're just trained to be scared of getting a phone call from a doctor, right? Like, people are scared of finding out that something is wrong with them. But the truth is, you know when something is wrong and you don't feel good. So please use this as a way to boost your confidence in your intuition, knowing that something is off and I'm ready to take a look at it. I know it takes a lot of courage. And that's why I want to teach you. That's why this group is here, because we need support as we go through this. But these are your 9 markers of health. If you want the copy, just go ahead and comment the word health, and I will get it to you. I will get the workbook to you. And basically, over the next 9 weeks, my goal is to really teach you about health. So when we're talking about how am I going to support you, what do you need to support your fertility naturally, is going to depend on where the holes are in your health. And if your hormones are out of balance, we have to ask the deeper question as to why they're out of balance. We don't want to act from a place of desperation and just take anything and everything and hope that it's going to work. We want to have intention behind our actions, and we want to understand why we're doing the things that we're doing. And most importantly, we want to notice the results from the actions that we're doing. If you're not noticing results, like I remember when I gained my 25 pounds after university, and then I was working out like crazy and I was dieting like crazy, and the weight just wasn't moving. And I would just go through these crazy binge cycles because I was, defeated, and I could only do it for 2 weeks. It was super hard to be part of that cycle. And I know that in the infertility space, because I talk to you guys all the time, you get in that desperation. I'll just do anything. I'll do anything. And then you get cornered into a medical treatment because now you feel that it's too late. And don't get me wrong, you might need a medical treatment still, but we want to get healthy before we even get into that cycle and thinking, and let's give your body a chance and see if it can heal and if it can get pregnant naturally. And then obviously that depends on your timeline. But over the next 9 weeks, I'm going to come live and I'm going to break down each specific one. So what I would do is encourage you to come on the ones that you know you're probably struggling with. But I would also just encourage you to jump on every week and watch every week and comment and ask questions so you could see if you are really healthy, because this education is not out there. And I always say you don't know what you don't know. And what I mean by that is I don't go to my mechanic to do my taxes. I go to my accountant because I know this much information and I know that there is a lot of other information that I have no idea about. And that's the same when it comes to health. You think you know, and this is the amount when people come to me, they're like, yeah, I've done everything. And I was like, but do you know that there's this whole other world that exists? And a lot of the times you don't. And so to prevent this unnecessary pain, let's get educated, let's be smart, and let's do, quote unquote, the best that we can to set ourselves up for success. And like I said, to avoid the unnecessary pain. So you can learn how to support yourself naturally, depending on where the pitfalls are in your health. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. Like I said, comment for the workbook with the word health, and then we're going to go from there. And we'll see you next week.